And do you recall actually seeing this specific article?
I don't remember seeing this specific article, but there were already plenty, and certainly more than I was happy to go through. I think once you read one or two of them, the general idea is I mean, the point had been made, clearly.
Your Honor, I'd move Plaintiff's Exhibit 411 into evidence.
Any objection?
No, Your Honor.
All right, 411 in evidence.
Could we please take this down and pull up Plaintiff's Exhibit 414? Mr. Depp,
Yes.
do you recognize this article at all?
I remember yeah, I don't know if it was this one in particular, but I do remember seeing all the various reasons behind her reasons behind her needing to get a temporary restraining order, a TRO against me, which they just started to metastasize into these. There were abuse allegations, and there was alcohol, and there was drugs and violence, and it just it was already right then and there before my eyes spinning out of control, and there was not a word that I could say.
Your Honor, I would move Plaintiff's Exhibit 414 into evidence.
Any objection?
No, Your Honor.
All right, 414 in evidence.
And if we could take this down now, please, and put up Plaintiff's Exhibit 409. And, Your Honor, if I could move Plaintiff's Exhibit 409 into evidence as well.
Any objection with 409?
No objection.
All right, 409 in evidence. Thank you.
Mr. Depp, do you recall seeing this People magazine article?
Yes, I do.
And when did you see it?
Right when it was released, right when it came out.
Did you speak to anyone about this article?
Yes, I did.
Who did you speak to?
Mostly friends, and my sister Christy, mostly friends, and certainly the band. And my kids. I had to alert them that there might be some ugly things coming out that were most assuredly going to put me in the position of some violent, drug-addled, alcoholic, just reprobate. And I wanted to warn them before they were approached with the People magazine cover in school by other kids. I wanted to be able to explain to them that this was going to be visible and it's going to be everywhere, and I apologize to them that this was happening.
Had you ever been accused of physically abusing a woman before this point?
No. No.
How would you describe the impact of these allegations at the time they were made? And Arnold, if you could please take this down.
I felt ill. I felt sick. I mean, sick in a sense that there was no truth in it. There was no truth in it whatsoever. And the fact that it was coming down on me so hard, and so quickly, and how it gained momentum around the world. And then you notice people looking at you differently. And then you notice calls stop coming from agents and producers and that sort of thing. This was before, in fact, the Me Too movement had come around. This was a while before that, so I couldn't have expected the Me Too movement to happen, but once that happened, then it just went into skyrocket mode. So you're showered with you're running between drops of lava. You're trying to run between raindrops that kill you and destroy you. So I was very confused. I was very hurt because, as I said before, when you're in a relationship and you do give your truth to intimate truths to that person that you're with, and then they start to use all that information and stretch it out into something that is completely shocking, because as I said, it just didn't happen. And so I felt like it was incredibly cruel and treachery. I felt it was treachery. It was I don't know if she wanted me to just be erased or drop dead or just let me stick around allow her to ruin my life for a while and go out of her way to shame me and hurt my kids and hurt people who I've known for many, many years. No, it was, I mean, to say that it was unfair is about the largest understatement that I it's actually the smallest understatement. I mean, it controlled my every waking second from the moment that I woke up until the moment that I dropped, even on the road playing shows. You'd go out and you'd play for an hour and a half or 2 hours, and you'd do your best to get through that. And I can remember getting off of finishing the show, getting on the bus with the other band members, and just going to the back of the bus and just you know, you had to get it out. So I just sat back and in the back of the bus and cried and hid it from people.
Mr. Depp, did you ever discuss Ms. Heard's domestic abuse allegations with any producers or directors in the movie industry?
Only if they fell into the category of friends. For example, Tim Burton, who was one of my dearest friends, and I've known him since we made Edward Scissorhands together in 1990. And we've been very, very, very close friends ever since then. Yeah, just friends, you know. And then, of course, as we were on the road, you know, the fellas in the band, you know, Alice Cooper is the singer of the Vampires, who's a dear friend, and Joe Perry from Aerosmith is in the band, and he's also a dear friend, and then a couple of the other members are just yeah, very close friends, and I was bereft of any. You just don't know what to say anymore. You just know what to. So I tried not to talk about it very much at all, but just to friends.
Mr. Depp, when did you and Ms. Heard divorce?
When was the divorce final?
Yes.
The divorce was final January 2017 on Friday the 13th.
And how were your divorce proceedings resolved ultimately?
My team of lawyers, which included two of my entertainment lawyers, a divorce attorney, and two more attorneys that were on, Blair Burke and someone else. I wanted to, for lack of a better word, I wanted to fight it. I wanted to fight it because it was there, because there wasn't an ounce, not a grain, not a molecule of truth to it. So I wanted to fight it.
False for hearsay, Your Honor.
All right.
He was speaking about what he wanted to do in the context of the divorce.
I understand. I think the next one was going to be they said, I don't know. those ones, so.
Okay,
You can do your next question.
sure, certainly. Did you pay Ms. Heard any money in connection with your divorce?
Yes.
And how much was that?
Her settlement, she wanted $7 million. I believe that was the settlement, wasn't it? Yes, $7 million.
And was there a joint statement that you and Ms. Heard released?
Yes, that's where I was getting. The advice that I was given was not to fight.
Objection, Your Honor. Hearsay.
All right, I'll sustain the objection. Next question.
Who wrote the joint statement?
I have no idea. Lawyers.
Did you approve the joint statement before it was issued?
I'll put it this way, I wasn't given much of a choice.
Could we please pull up Plaintiff's Exhibit 408? And Mr. Depp, do you see the second paragraph from the bottom of this page? Is that the joint statement that you and Ms. Heard released together?
That's the joint statement that was released, yes.
And could you please read that joint statement for the jury?
Our relationship was intensely passionate and at times volatile, but always bound by love. Neither party has made false accusations for financial gain. There was never any intent of physical or emotional harm. Amber wishes the best for Johnny in the future. Amber will be donating financial proceeds from the divorce to a charity.
What happened after this joint statement was issued, Mr. Depp?
What happened after that? I suppose, the next move was to start making payments to Ms. Heard. There were scheduled payments, and then at a certain point, Ms. Heard had made statements to the press saying that the $7 million was going to be, the $7 million was the settlement, and that $7 million was going to be split up between two charities. One was the ACLU, and the other was the Children's Hospital of Los Angeles, which, in fact, was a breach of the agreement. Neither one of us were supposed to speak about details, money, anything of that nature. So when Ms. Heard breached that agreement, that was when I asked Ed White, my business manager, to send the first payments directly to the charities in Ms. Heard's name. And after I did that, Ms. Heard was very, very angry that I had made those first payments, and she went into a kind of a tirade about how I should be charged double the $7 I should be charged 14 million, so that, because she thought that I was looking for a tax break.
Mr. Depp, between the time that the joint statement was released and the time that the op-ed came out, how many movies did you work on in that time period, if you can recall?
When did the joint statement come out? Was it, I'm sorry.
Could we scroll up, please? I'll withdraw the question for the moment. In the time leading from the divorce through the, in the time period between when your divorce was finalized and the release of the op-ed in December 2018, do you have an estimate as to how many television or movie projects you worked on?
I don't exactly. I believe there was another, maybe a smaller tour with the vampires, and I can't. I don't remember. It's hard to remember. I've done too many movies.
That's okay.
Sorry.
Your Honor, I apologize. Can we please move into evidence exhibit 408?
All right, any objection to 408?
Yes, Your Honor, I think we don't have any objection to the joint statement that was read, but the rest of the article contains hearsay statements that we
All
think
right.
should be redacted.
We can redact that
Okay.
and put it
So
in
you only
tomorrow.
have redacted 408 with just the statement then? Is that what you're talking about?
Just that second to last
Okay.
paragraph.
All right. That statement will be in evidence once we get it redacted. Okay.
All right, thank you.
Mhm.
If we could please pull up Plaintiff's Exhibit 1. Mr. Depp, do you recognize this document?
Excuse me. Yes, I do.
And what is it?
This is Ms. Hurd's op-ed for the Washington Post that I believe came out in December of 18. I recognize, yes, I certainly remember this.
And have you actually read this op-ed?
Yes, I have.
And what do you think of it, its contents?
Well, it was a hell of a start, I'd say, in terms of the title. If you could, can we scroll down a little bit, just for a second? Because I'd like to make a point. Reading it and reading the words that she had written about what was obviously referring to our relationship. It was obviously referring to me 2 years ago. It all matched up, and so it was clearly about me. And then I read the rest of the article where she talks about, if you could go down, scroll down just a little bit. After the imagine a powerful man as a ship. Because she goes into, she talks about, in this section of the piece, she talks about the plight of women, not just in Hollywood, but in general in the world, and there were many things that I did not disagree with in terms of this part of the article. I understand anyone's passion to right the wrongs that have been done for countless years against any being who's suffered at the hands of domestic violence, be it women, men, children. That's something, of course, coming from my background, that I am very, very against any bullying of any human being, any forced violence, any injustice committed against any human being. So all this part of the article was, strangely, I understood it very well, and I can applaud some of this. I can absolutely say that I believe that it was very well done with regard to violence against women or violence against anyone. It just seemed kind of a strange other side, like a two-headed coin.
Mr. Depp, did you experience any consequences after the release of the op-ed?
Absolutely.
And what
Yes.
were those?
Oh, well, I believe it was, I don't think it took Disney very long, maybe a couple of days, to announce that I had been removed from the Pirates of the Caribbean films franchise, which I learned about reading in reading one of these type of, some magazine, or the article where Sean Bailey was quoted, which was very odd to me, as I have had many creative conversations with the Disney people, even to the point of where they were asking me to come back and write Pirates.
No.
Sorry.
What Disney executives told him is hearsay.
We can move
You-
on.
You
Your
want to, if you want to, just restart.
So, I see.
Go ahead.
But, so I can read it out of someone's article, but not from the man's mouth. Is that what happens?
Next question.
Mr. Depp, what to your understanding is the status of Pirates 6?
At this point,
Yes.
I believe it's in dangle mode.
Mr. Depp, have you ever physically assaulted Miss Heard?
Never.
Have you ever sexually assaulted Miss Heard?
Never. Certainly not.
What have you lost as a result of Miss Heard making these allegations against you?
Nothing less than everything. nothing less than everything. Because when the allegations were made, when the allegations were rapidly circling the globe, telling people that I was a drunken, cocaine-fueled menace who beat women suddenly in my 50s. It's over. You know, you're done. So, what did it do to me? What effect did it have on me? I'll put it to you this way. No matter the outcome of this trial, the second the allegations were made against me, the accusations, the second that more and more of these things, as I said, metastasized and turned into fodder for the media. Once that happens, or once that happened, I lost then. That is to say, I lost because that is not a thing that anyone is going to just put on your back for a short period of time. I will live with that for the rest of my life because of the allegations and because it was such a high-profile case. So I lost then, no matter the outcome of this trial. I'll carry that for the rest of my days. And it never had to be that way. It never had to happen. And I don't quite understand why it did in the way that it did.
I have no further questions, Your Honor.